Hello everyone, welcome to Bhumika Study World. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. So, in my earlier videos, we have done the introduction to the chapter number 1 of Science Class 8, that is crop production and management. And we have also discussed about the different types of crops, right? And today we're going to start with a new topic. But before starting with the topic, let us do a quick recap of the different types of crops that we have studied in our earlier video. I hope you have seen the video, right? Okay. So there are generally two types of crops, the Kharif crops and the Rabi crops. First of all, let's discuss the Kharif crops. Children, Kharif crops are those crops which are grown in the rainy season, okay? Which are grown in the rainy season. And we know that in India, rainy season is generally from June to September, right? So the Kharif crops are grown generally from June to September, right? Some examples of Kharif crops are given here: paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut and cotton. These are the examples of Kharif crops, right? Next is the Rabi crops. Rabi crops are those crops which are grown in the winter season. And we know that in India, winter season is generally from October to March, right? So the Rabi crops are grown between October to March, right? So some examples of Rabi crops are given here: wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. These are the examples of Rabi crops, right? Children, now after this, look at these two lines. Look at it. Besides these, pulses and vegetables are grown during summer at many places. Oh, we got a new crop from here. That are the crops which are grown in the summer season. What are those crops known as? Those crops are known as the Z crops. Z crops are those crops which are grown in the summer season, right? For example, watermelon. Okay, Z crops are not given in your NCERT book, okay, but in many of the schools Z crop is done, right? So it is also a general basic type of crop, just like Kharif and the Rabi crops, right? So here we complete with the different types of crops. Now let us come back to our today's topic. So today we're going to discuss about basic practices of the crop production. This is our today's topic, right? Okay. Before starting the topic, let us answer one of the very important questions asked by Bujo. Here, Bujo is asking one of the question, and it is very important, and many times it come in exam. Very important. Why paddy cannot be grown in the winter season? Children, paddy actually requires a lot of water. Okay, paddy requires a lot of water, right? And we know that in winter season the crop cannot get a lot of water, right? So it is grown in the rainy season. The paddy are grown in the rainy season, so as when it rains, so the paddy can get its sufficient water, right? Okay. Now let us get started with the topic. Finally, the basic practices of the crop production. Okay, children, there are in total seven basic practices, right? And today in this video, we're going to just discuss about the first practice, right? And the later practices we'll discuss in our next video. So let's get started. Children, you might have seen a farmer who is working very hard to prepare a good crop. Okay, he's working very hard to give the crop a better yield, so that the crop will give a better yield, right? Children, you might have seen that when a farmer just grow the crop, then there are some of the practices, the methods, or you can see the steps that are followed by the farmers to grow a better crop, right? These practices, these steps are known as the agricultural practices, right? And in this whole chapter, we're going to just discuss about these agricultural practices one by one in brief, right? Whole chapter is about this agricultural practices. But what are the steps that are to be followed by the farmer to grow a better crop, so that so that the farmer gets a better yield of crop, right? So cultivation of crops involves several activities that are undertaken by the farmers over a period of time. So there is a certain period of time within which the farmer has to undertake these activities. So you might find that these activities are similar to those carried out by a gardener or even by you when you grow ornamental plants in your house. Okay, so when the gardener grows the plants, different types of plants, so first of all what he just prepare the soil, just water it, then sow the seeds, right? Water it regularly. Okay, so these are some of the steps that are taken by the farmers, by the gardeners. Okay, so these steps are known as the agricultural practices, right? So these similar steps are to be taken by the farmers also to grow a better crop, right? These activities or tasks are referred to as agricultural practices. Fine. So these activities which are undertaken by the farmers are known as the agricultural practices. Fine. Okay. So agricultural practices which are undertaken by the farmers are as follows. They are listed below. These are the 7 activities that are to be undertaken by the farmers. So the first activity is preparation of the soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting, and last is storage. Okay, so these agricultural practices are in order, in sequence, right? So first of all, in this video we're going to just study about the first practice, that is the preparation of the soil. So let us get started with it. Preparation of soil. Children, before sowing the seeds, the soil should be well prepared. So the preparation of the soil is the first step before growing a crop, and it is one of the very much important step, because if the soil will not be prepared, then the crop will not give a better yield, a better output, right? And it is one of the most important tasks in agriculture. Okay, it is to grow and loosen the soil. It is to turn the soil and loosen it. Now in preparation of the soil, what is generally done? The soil is turned and loosened. So the soil is just turned and loosened, right? This allows the roots to pretend deep into the soil. Now these are some of the advantages that why we turn or loose the soil, right? Before sowing the seeds, why do we turn and loose the soil? Because this allows the roots of the soil, the roots of the crops to pretend deep into the soil, right? To penetrate deep into the soil. So the roots of the crop go very deep into the soil just because of turning and loosing, right? The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even if they go deep into the soil. So as we have studied that when the soil is turned or loose, so the roots go very deep into the soil, right? So if they go very deep, so the turning and the loosing also allows them to breathe very easily even if they go very much deep into the soil also. Okay, why does the loosening of the soil allow the roots to breathe easily? Okay, the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes that are present in the soil. Okay, so the loosening of the soil, this is the second advantage, that the loosening of the soil helps the growth of earthworms and the microbes present in the soil, and these are known as the farmer's friend. Okay, you might have studied in your earlier classes also. So these organisms are the friends of the farmer, since they further turn and loose the soil and add humus to it, right? So what does these microbes or earthworms do? They further turn and lose the soil and add humus to it, right? You have learned in your previous classes that the soil contains minerals, water, air, and some living organisms. In addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by soil organisms. In this way, nutrients in the dead organism are released back into the soil. These nutrients are again absorbed by the plants. So it is just like a cycle, children. We know that the soil contains a lot of minerals, water, and air. Right? If any plant or an animal die, so suppose a plant gets died, so the dead plant, the nutrients from these dead plants are released in the soil. Then these released nutrients are further used by the other plants that grow, right? So these dead plants and animals, they release the nutrients in the soil, and then further these nutrients are used by these new plants which grow, right? And then when these new plants die, then these nutrients are again released, then these are again used by the other new plants, right? So this is a cycle that goes on, right? Since only a few centimeters of the top layer of soil supports plants' growth, turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrient-rich layer to the top. Okay, now what happened? There are also layers of the soil that are present. Okay, so there's a few centimeters of the top layer only supports the plant for its growth and provides minerals and nutrients. Right? So the turning and the loosening of soil, what does they do? They bring the nutrient-rich layer to the top, so that it can support the plant's growth, right? So this is the other advantage. Okay, so now thus turning and loosening of soil is very important for cultivation of crops. So we have studied about different advantages, right? That why turning and loosening of the soil is important, right? Why is this important? Let us recapitulate the advantages. First, it allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. Second, it allows the roots to breathe very easily even if they are deep into the soil. Secondly, it is that it helps in the growth of the other microbes and the earthworms in the soil, which are called the farmer's friend, right? And then these earthworms and the microbes, they help to add humus to the soil, right? Okay, and then when the dead plants die, so what happens when the dead plants die? These nutrients which are released, they are used by the new plants, right? And the last advantage is that the turning and the loosening allows and helps the nutrient-rich layer to bring to the top, right? So that they can support the plants for the growth, right? Because just a few centimeters of the soil helps the plant for the growth. So now this turning and the loosening is done by the process known as tilling or plowing. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is known as tilling or plowing. Okay, and this tilling and plowing, these are done by a agricultural implement known as plow. You might have studied this word plow. So plow is a implement or a tool that is used for tilling or plowing. Tilling is another name of plowing only, children. Okay, plows are now made up of wood or iron also. Fine. In the ancient time it was made up of wood, but nowadays iron plows are also available. If the soil is now before turning or loosening, if the soil is very dry, so it may need watering before the plowing. The plowed field may have big clumps or soil called crumbs, right? So now before tilling or plowing, if the soil is very much dry, so it needs to be watered, right? And the plowed field may have the big crumbs like shape, right? And these are also need to be broken. So they are broken by the process known as leveling. Leveling is done by a wooden plank or a leveler, right? So what happens in leveling? In leveling, the field is leveled properly, right? These soil crumbs, they are pressed tightly so that they break and the field is leveled, right? So it is very important to break these crumbs. So leveling in the field is beneficial for sowing as well as for irrigation. Leveling of soil is done with the help of a leveler, and sometimes manure is also added to the soil before tilling. This helps with the proper mixing of the manure with the soil. The soil is moistened before growing. So now what happens? Sometimes what happens, the manure is also added to the soil before plowing, because when the plowing is done, so everything is mixed, right? So if they are mixed, so manure gets properly mixed with the soil. Okay, so it increases the amount of nutrients and minerals in the soil, right? And the soil must be moistened before sowing. Okay, I hope this preparation of soil is very much clear. So we learned about the advantages of turning and plowing. We learned about the turning and losing, right? We learned about the process, that what is known as losing and turning, it is known as tilling and plowing also, right? Plowing is done by plows, right? What is leveling? Okay, now we're going to study about the agricultural implements that are used for tilling or plowing. Before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break the soil crumbs to get a better yield. This is done with the help of various tools. The main tools for this purpose are plow, hoe and cultivator. So we're going to just study about plow, hoe and cultivator. Okay. So first is the plow. Plow. This is being used since the ancient times for tilling the soil. Tilling means plowing only. Tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. Okay, so plow is used for these things: for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. And this is made up by wood. Okay, in the ancient times it was made up by wood, but nowadays iron plows are also available, right? And how this plow works, children? It is drawn by a pair of bulls or other animals such as horses and camels, right? So pair of bulls and a man is required to use the plow and to handle it. Okay, so it can be a pair of bulls also, it can be horses and the camels also. It contains a strong triangular iron strip called plowshare, right? Just look at it. This is a figure of the plow, right? So the plow contains this strong triangular handle with an iron strip known as the plowshare. The main part is the log of wood that is known as the plow shaft. Fine. And this way a pair of bulls just handle it, and a man is used to handle it, right? And this plow is attached to the bull's neck by a beam. This is a beam. Okay, this is a beam. Fine. So these are the main parts of this plow. Okay, so the main part of the plow is the log of wood, which I've already started, which is called a plow shaft, and there is a handle at one end of the shaft. The other end is attached to the beam, which is placed on the bull's neck, right? You look now that this beam was placed on the bull's neck. This is a beam, right? This is a beam which is placed on the bull's neck, on which this plow is attached, right? And it is easily operated by one pair of the bulls, and a man can easily operate the plow. The indigenous wooden plow is increasingly being replaced by the iron plows nowadays. I already told you that nowadays iron plows are also used, right? So this was all about the plow, the structure of the plow. Let me discuss again. In the plow there is just iron known as the plowshare. A log of wood is the main part known as the plow shaft, and this is attached to a beam, and the beam is put on the bull's neck, right? So at the one end of the plow is the beam, and on the other it just turn and lose the soil, right? On the other it is the plowshare. Okay, now I'm going to discuss about the hoe. A simple tool, hoe. Fine. What is hoe? Hoe is a simple tool which is used for removing the weeds and for losing the soil. It has a long rod of wood or iron. A strong, broad and bent plate of the iron is fixed on one of its end. Right? So what is a hoe? Hoe is a simple tool that is used for removing the weeds and for losing the soil. Right? And it is generally a log of wood or a iron. Okay, long rod of wood or iron. Right? Nowadays iron hoes are available, but first wood hoes were used. So just the main part is the long rod of wood, right? And a strong broad bent plate is fixed, of iron is fixed. Generally iron hoes are available, right? Let us see the diagram of a hoe. Look at this. This is the hoe, right? A hoe. You can see the main part is the long rod of iron, right? This is the grip, the handle and a broad bent plate, right? This is the beam and this is the rod, right? This is the diagram of hoe. Okay, so hoe is just used for removing the weeds and losing the soil. This is the main structure of a hoe. Okay, so this bent plate, it acts as a blade, right? And it is pulled by the animals only. It is just operated by the animals, right? Now let us study about the cultivator. Cultivator. Nowadays plowing is done by the tractor driven cultivator. Nowadays in this modern time, the plowing is done by a tractor driven cultivator. Okay, in the ancient time it was done by the plow, right? It was done by the plow, but nowadays by a cultivator. Cultivator are tractor driven, as you can see, tractor driven. So they are handled by a tractor only. The cultivator is attached to a tractor and then it is driven. And farmers generally prefer these cultivators because it saves the time and labor. Not much labor is required and it saves the time also, and not much labor is required. These are the advantages of using cultivator, right? But in plow, a man was also required, and a lot of time is means assumed in the plow and a lot of labor, right? But in cultivator it saves the time and labor, the cultivator, right? So I hope these are very much clear to you, right? I hope that you have understood very properly the preparation of the soil. Let us once again do the recapitulation that what we have learned in the preparation of soil. So preparation of the soil is the first step of the agricultural practice, right? And is one of the most important, right? In the preparation of the soil, the turning and the losing of the soil is only done, right? There are some of the advantages of turning and the losing of the soil. That is that the turning and the losing, it allows the roots to pretend deep into the soil, okay, and it allows the roots to breathe easily even if they are very much deep, okay. And the loosened soil helps in the growth of the earthworms and the microbes present in the soil, okay, which are the farmer's friend, right, as they add humus to the soil, okay. And then the soil also contains minerals, water, air, right, and some living organisms, okay. And in addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by the soil organisms, and in this way various nutrients in the dead organisms are released back into the soil, and then these nutrients are used by the new plants, right. And the turning of the soil, it helps the nutrient rich layer to bring to the top, because a few centimeters of the top layer only helps the growth of the crops, right. So it brings the nutrient rich layer to the top, fine. And then this process of turning and losing is known as tilling or plowing, which is done by the plow, right. Plows can be of wood or iron also. Nowadays iron plows are also available, right. And before plowing, the field should be watered, right? If it is dry, it should be watered. And after plowing, there are some of the big crumbs or clumps that are formed, and it is very important to break those, right? To break them. So a process known as leveling is done, in which the field is leveled properly by using a leveler or a wooden plank, right? In which these soil crumbs, they are just pressed tightly and are then broken, right? They get broken and the field is leveled, right? And sometimes manure is also added to the soil before plowing, so that it gets mixed properly with the soil and provides a lot of nutrients, right, to the crop plant. Now the agricultural implements. There are in total 3 agricultural implements which are basic, and we'll study about them only. Plow was used in the ancient times, and it is used for tilling of soil and adding of fertilizers, removing the weeds and turning the soil, right? This is operated by a pair of the bulls, or you can say the horses and the camels, okay, and a man, right? Plow can be of wooden or iron also, and the main part of the plow is the log of wood known as the plow shaft, and there is one end of the plow shaft is the plowshare, which is a triangular handle with an iron strip, and on the other end on the other end it is attached to a beam, and the beam is put on the bull's neck. Then it is operated. Next is the hoe. Hoe is just a simple tool which is used for removing the weeds and for loosening the soil. Okay, it is the basic part is the long rod of iron or the wood. Basically, it is found in iron only. So, a long rod of iron, and a strong, broad bend plate of iron is also fixed at one of its ends, which acts as a blade, and it is pulled by the animals. So, you can see the figure of the hoe here. Now, the cultivator. Nowadays, for plowing, cultivators are used rather than the plows, right? Why the cultivators are used? Because cultivators save the time and labor of the farmers, and they are tractor driven, right? So they saves the time and labor. I hope, children, that it is very much clear to you, right? Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel, and if you are having any doubt related to it, please comment it, right? And for more notifications of my new videos, please subscribe my channel. Now the next step is of sewing, okay? And sewing we will do in our next video. Till the time, goodbye.